You are listening to The World as I See It podcast. 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 Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. So, this episode is inspired by an email that I received. But before we get too far into this episode, if you have any questions or thoughts, please send me an email at theworldasIseeitpodcast@gmail.com. So this is what that email said. I had you and your brother in first grade summer school. I was amazed how you were already so independent at such a young age. I'm so excited for you in this podcast. What a wonderful way to educate people and share your perception. When I taught you that summer, I wondered how you visualize yourself, your family, friends, and teachers. It is a skill that we teach in school when reading, but the students have some background knowledge of what people look like. Can you explain how you put a face with a voice? And that is what today's episode is going to be about. So, whenever I think about putting a face with a voice, a voice, it's not just a sound. It's more than that. It's a lot more than that. And, when I hear someone's voice for the first time, it can really tell me a lot about that person. I can get a pretty good idea of, what they might be like. And sometimes a new voice sounds intimidating. But when I meet the person, they're actually really nice and not scary at all. And it's not like I actually see a face in my head. It's like the voice gives me a vibe or a feeling of that person. So I don't really, when I hear a voice, think about what they might look like their hairstyle or their eye color. I kind of think about their personality. And, sometimes I will hear a voice and just know that person, they're going to be chill. And most of the time, I'm pretty much right. And some people's voices, they're sharp and fast, like they're in a rush or they're thinking. And other times, people have voices that are calm and relaxed. And some of them are just kind of super thoughtful. And I remember one time I was in a room with new people and I heard someone talk and immediately thought to myself that it sounded like someone was going to be somebody I was going to be friends with. And I was right. A voice can say a lot even before you really know anything about that person. And I've been asked things especially during 1 year of summer school. I don't remember what year it was, but it was when I was young. And someone asked me if I touch people's faces to figure out what they look like. And I'm sure that there are some blind people out there that do. And it works for them. But it's not something I'm going to do. And honestly, I generally think that is just weird and absurd. Like, I'm not just going to go around and start touching people's faces. It's just weird. I can understand so much more by their voice. And it's amazing how voices can shape the way we can connect with someone before we even meet them. And over time, I've realized that voices are like fingerprints. Each voice is unique in their own way. And each one, tells a story. And when you really listen, you can understand people in a deeper way. And it's not about being right all the time about, what I imagine about them by their voice. It's about being open, curious, and respectful for what someone's voice reveals. So, next time you hear someone speak, try to listen a little deeper, and you might be surprised by what you feel and what you learn. Thank you for listening to this episode. If this made you think differently about voices or helped you reflect on how you understand people, I'm truly glad. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening. You've been listening to the World as I See It podcast.